everybody, welcome to this episode of Mismatch. So when we talk about dating or relationships, I think we spend a lot of time trying to understand each other, but I don't know if we spend enough time understanding what actually is underneath it all and why we are the way that we are. Because who you are doesn't just come from your love life. It comes very much from your upbringing, your environment, and the things that you've had to survive before you ever learned how to be. And for a lot of men, that story isn't always something that they've been taught to talk about. Today's guest is someone who's built his entire life around strength, and not just the kind that you see in the gym, although in this case, it is for him as well. Norman Burgos is a strength coach, entrepreneur, and founder of Great Alpha Athletics and Great Alpha Podcast. For over a decade, he's helped people transform their bodies and mindsets, two things, and we're going to get into that today, through discipline and structure. But behind that is a deeper story, one that's shaped by resilience and what it means to become a man on your own terms. Masculinity is so complicated today, and I feel like this is a conversation that comes up more so now than ever. Is it about control, providing, emotional strength, and vulnerability? What is masculinity? Norman is the host, as I said, of a Gal Alpha Mindset that features honest, high-energy conversations about leveling up in life, in health, and in business to help people become stronger physically, mentally, and, get this, emotionally. That exists, my friends. And Norman's here in studio today.
Thank you.
Norman, it's great to have you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That was awesome. I'll put that in my LinkedIn.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
Success. No, I'm so glad that you're here. And how this worked out is that I came on your pod and now you're on my pod.
Yeah.
And,
you crushed it.
I don't know about that.
You crushed it. I think we had a really good time.
I had a really good time, but I never know how to feel about being on the other end of in the other seat.
Which is where I am right now.
I was just going to say, so is it uncomfortable
so
far?
Not really. I mean, we spoke about this on my podcast, but I've been in a lot of situations where I have to be in front of people, even though I'm a introvert. And I said this, but I'm like the most introvert you will ever meet. And I explained to you the story of when I used to do stand-up comedy. So I'll rehash it here.
Yeah.
But basically, when I used to do stand-up comedy,
how did you get into stand-up comedy? Explain that basis, because
girl, I was just trying to pay bills.
It's not for anybody.
I was just trying to pay
but
bills.
That's like the last thing that someone would do.
I thought it was kind of funny. Right? Like girls are always just like,
So
oh, you're funny.
You're funny.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm like, oh, I think I can make some bills.
Okay.
So basically, when I lived in Calgary, Calgary with my dad. And so, not to get like too dark, but whatever. I went to Calgary to take care of him and to get to know him. And it just ended up not really good. So I ended up working a lot. So I worked on a farm, just grunt work, literally just like shoveling shit and just doing awful things. And then I taught salsa at school.
Oh my God, you can dance.
Yeah, well, I'm Latino, so it's in my blood.
It's in your blood.
Yeah. So like, my hips don't lie. Okay. And then after, I needed some more money. And my first period was drama. And my teacher was like, you're pretty funny on the fly. Like I know one of the owners of Loose Moose, and you should go and like work there. You can work as a busboy, and then you can do some stand-up comedy there, and I'll pay for some food, and it's just great community. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know. That's kind of nerve-wracking. And she's like, you just try it. She's like, so I went, and I mean, whether it was pity laughs, I still got laughs. And so the guy's like, yeah, you should, stay here for a bit, and you can do some busboy stuff. And then you can do some stand-up. So I did that. But anyway, so I was trying to get comfortable with that. And so the exercise we did was I'd go up on the stage, and it'd be like a room full of like 15, 20 kids or people, whatever. And I would have to tell a bit until there was nobody left sitting. So if you thought I was boring, you get up and leave. And the whole point of that is to not get discouraged, not stop, not fumble. If somebody doesn't like your shit, or basically just like if somebody like a sound or something has to go to the bathroom. So we did that a whole bunch of times, and it's gut-wrenching.
That's one way to build thick skin.
Yeah,
for sure.
Gut-wrenching, because there's always that asshole who gets up right away to
for sure
to just. and then gets up and then kind of comes back. You're like, I'm
Just to
scanning
play
you.
with
What are you
your head.
doing?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
to play with your mind.
So I did that, and then that part got me really comfortable with. And then we would host like SNL nights at school,
Fun.
and I would be the host. So I would do like 10 minutes of a bit in the
So
beginning.
you have to be I always say, as the host in comedy, you have to be the funniest person, because you have to carry people from one act to the next. And sometimes an act is like not great. And you have to like save it and keep people wanting to stay.
Yeah, it's true. But I'm also one of those people, like, I can roll with the sarcasm. Like, if something was like coming out and it was like crickets, I'd be like, not a good one, eh? You guys didn't like that one.
So, you call it.
Yeah. So that got me really comfortable with that. And then obviously with like personal training, we're meeting people. Like, it's interesting because with personal training, I always say, like, I have to sell you a better future that you can't see, that you can't hold, and you have to have full trust in me.
Yeah.
Like, it is a relationship. It's a bond.
For sure.
I see you 3-4 times a week for an hour. There'll be days where you're going to complain about your husband or your wife or your job, or you're going to come in sad, or you're going to come in,
Tired.
because of the time of the month.
Yeah.
And you have to feel open to have a conversation with me so I can pivot in the training.
Yeah.
So I got really, really good at understanding people, seeing people's cues, understanding if they're nervous, and also that field of personal training, like predominantly it's women who find personal trainers. And I think
why do you think that is?
Because girls are so honest.
Yeah.
Like girls will be like, I just need help.
Yeah.
I just need help. I'll give you the money. I just want to be better. Guys have way more ego naturally.
Yeah.
Be like, no, man,
I can do it myself.
I YouTube Brad Pitt's workout routine, and like I'll just do it. So I find guys are more like, I'll just do it myself, right? Women are so much more vulnerable. They're okay with being vulnerable and just asking for help, I find. So that being said, I really care about like women's comfortability and safety. So I got really, really good at making women feel comfortable and safe around me. And so I just always made sure, like I know this sounds silly, but don't put the girl in compromising situations where it looks like I'm staring at her ass. You know what I mean?
It's uncomfortable.
You know what I mean?
Trainer, you're put in a lot of those scenarios.
100%. Or like if I know that a girl like is coming in and she doesn't really have the support for her chest, and she's bigger, heavy chested, and there's a lot of guys in that gym, I'm not going to make her do high knees or treadmill, because I'm not going to make her feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some girls just don't care, but also I'm not going to put somebody in a position to make them feel uncomfortable. Right. So I've really like adapted to just make them feel comfortable.
So they can focus on what they're doing and what the end goal is.
Yeah. So sorry to interrupt you.
Not at all.
So basically, I put myself in situations to constantly understand people and pay attention to people. So I think that's definitely my superpower.
So what do you think has attributed to that, or how did you become that way, especially with women? Because I always say, like, it's interesting, whenever I have dated anyone, any guy who has either is very close with their mother or has grown up with sisters is usually better with women, because they have a greater understanding of how they think or how they move.
Yeah, so I was raised by a house of Latinas. Okay. so I was like, it was my abuela, it was my godmother, it was my mom. So like, I will recognize when you get your nails done. I will recognize when you get highlights, lowlights. I will recognize when you're wearing new perfume. I will recognize when you got a new outfit. I will recognize all that stuff.
These are all things women love.
Yeah, so just because I saw that all the time, especially with the Latin culture, like they like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So like I got really, really used to paying attention to that, and I think it was just a habit where it's just like I was raised by women, and women are very detail oriented about things. Like they like details to be predominantly. I don't want to speak for all women, obviously, but predominantly like details to be pointed out because they care about doing that kind of stuff, right? So, and obviously
the effort is being put forth, so we want to be recognized for the effort.
Exactly. So like I do the best I can to make sure I pay attention to that. Whether it's a haircut, whether it's a highlight, low light. Most guys don't know about that.
That's tricky.
Most guys don't know about that. So
for sure.
Yeah. So being raised by women, basically, I didn't really have like a I had a lot of figures in my life, but I didn't really have like a good one until later on in life. I literally had the stereotypical like Mr. Miyagi, like my martial arts teacher, just set me on the right path on how to be a man. So, or like, I don't want to say how to be a man because he's not one of those guys. Just how to be a person. Like he always told me, like, you never aim to be a nice guy. You aim to be a great guy.
Oh, interesting. Explain what that means.
Well, he's like, nice guys get pushed over. Nice guys say yes too much.
Nice guys finish last.
Nice guys finish last. He's like, but great men, they protect, they hold it down, they have conviction, and that's what's important. So he always just drilled in my head, don't be a nice guy, be a great man.
So do you consider yourself a great man?
Not at all.
I think you're a nice guy too. Can you be both?
I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. I'm sure you can. I don't think that. I also don't. I want to like context. Like, I think it's amazing to be a nice person and a nice guy. But I think as long as you have conviction, as long as you have comfortability saying no, as long as you're respectful in your debates or whatever, I think that's really important. And I think also like with men too, like it's interesting because men hold so much emotion also, but we don't really talk about it, right? And it's like, it's all about being still. Like you want to manage your emotions, don't let your emotions manage you, right? There's tons of times where I'm sad, upset, anxious, and it's like, it's all about just accepting what you feel and then like self-regulate and then move it forward. And there's a time to compartmentalize and get the job done.
For sure.
I've always believed that. There's a time to, if you're sad that day, you shove that shit down.
Yeah.
You get the job done, and then you either go to a person that you feel comfortable with and you let loose and talk to them, or if you need time to yourself, you let yourself heal, you know?
How did you become this emotionally intelligent?
Oh, by being not emotionally intelligent.
Well, that's often how it starts, right? So what was like the kicker for you, or like a lesson, or maybe somebody in your life who showed you this?
Nobody showed me this.
No.
I don't think so. Like my dad is the stereotypical steps on people's throats, lies, cheats, manipulates. Did
you learn that as a kid? Like
to do that?
No, like see that sort of behavior as a kid.
I saw the pain that it creates around him.
Okay.
And I think I think inherently I pay attention to people's like feelings and heart and eyes so much that I recognize that at a very young age, how much that hurts people. And I saw how much it hurts other people. So I just didn't want to be that person. So I did everything I could to understand stillness. And I'm way far away from actually like completing that. I think it's a lifelong journey.
For sure.
But I did everything I can to understand that and everything I can to just hone it in protecting people. I've always thought that my position in life is to be more useful than anything else. And if I can be on my deathbed and say I gave more than I took, then I think I could be a happy man.
So do you think that you learned all of this then from the women in your life more so because that's who you were surrounded by?
Yes and no. I say no because even though I was so lucky to have my mom and my grandmother and my godmother, they were so busy working that like I rarely saw them.
So you were like on your own.
To be honest, you want to honestly know the reason why?
Yeah.
The only reason why I strive so hard to be the guy, him, is because, you know, when my mom and everybody was working so much, the only outlets I had to what I thought was a good man was comic books, Ninja Turtles, and Power Rangers. And so I paid attention.
Solid 90s.
Yeah, I know, right? Way to age me, right? So I paid attention to what they did, and I just tried to emulate it, you know?
That's so interesting.
So like when I read
positive effects of pop culture.
Exactly.
We don't often hear things like that.
That's very true. So I basically did everything I can. Like, okay, Superman opens the door for women. I'm gonna open the door for
So
women.
interesting.
You know,
You picked up on these things from like an animated cartoon?
Yeah, honestly, or like Ninja Turtles, like that brotherly team love. Okay, I need to be like brotherly when I'm on the team with other people. I need to have love. I need to be silly, but I need to have fun. I need to know martial arts. And then Power Rangers, like obviously, you know, the Green Ranger was like the guy. So I was like, okay, I got to make sure like I watch over everybody, and I got to make sure like I take the hits. And like I kept on trying everything I read that I thought was like the ideal man, which was in pop culture, I guess. I strived to be.
That's so interesting. And obviously it worked in a positive way, but that could also work in like a negative way as
Yeah,
well with like
Yeah, if I was watching like Rambo or something like that, and I got to go to the army. Yeah. So
right. Or like even just this concept of like power and like authority and things like that, right? Like those are
yeah.
also common themes and things like that too.
Mhm.
So it's interesting that you took it like in the soft route rather than
Yeah, I
know?
mean, power to me is protection. Power to me is protection, and power to me is being able to endure for other people, endure for yourself, and to not be wavered, right? So that's again to go back. That's what I saw as a kid. So that's like I need to have that. And then when I got older, I met my martial arts teacher, and he just led the path for me, like 100%. Like the amount of quotes this guy would give me, and it just there's certain people that you meet in your life that see you,
Yeah.
that just see you,
Yeah.
like they just see you, and you almost have that wave of like, okay, right, and that's just who my teacher was or is, and it just even to this day, like there's certain things that like I will just go to him for guidance.
That's so nice.
Yeah, like he's just I will go to him for guidance, and he'll just somehow his answer is always the right one. I don't know.
Yeah, that's so nice. That's everything to have
Mm-hmm.
a mentor in your life like that. But that's also like, I mean, has been a fatherly figure to you, I'm guessing.
More, you know what it is? It's funny because I thought that, but he's more like the older brother I never had.
Oh, nice.
That's the way I see
That's
it.
nice.
Because we can hit each other in sparring,
You're
and he
like,
doesn't
yeah, I
care.
wouldn't be hitting my
He doesn't.
dad.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't care. But I see him more of as like the older brother that like found that stillness,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I will. Yeah, there's a quote that always stands by me whenever I get sad and he taught me it is there's always two archers in life, the one that shoots for passion and the one who shoots for gold. They're both equally talented, but the one who shoots for passion can draw the bow longer, can stay a little bit more focused. The one who draws for gold, he gets nervous because people are clapping, people are cheering for him. He wants to be able to pay for things, right? The feeling of winning outweighs the feeling of the passion. And so he always told me you have to be the second archer, not the first. So it's always
I love
like
that. That's a great analogy.
yeah, so it's always like bit in my heart. It's like which archer, like in situations I'm like, okay, which archer am I right now? I always got to be the one who shoots for passion, not for gold.
That's beautiful. That's really nice. Do you think that it's important for people to have somebody like that in life, or to like even enroll in like whether it be martial arts, sport, athletics, to like have that sort of discipline, not only like in the physicality but also like mindset? Because I mean, martial arts is like the epitome of like discipline to me.
Yeah, it's interesting because when you think of martial arts, what are the first three things that you think of?
I think of I think strict,
Mm-hmm.
I think respect,
Mm-hmm.
and I think powerful.
So it's interesting to me because I agree with you.
Okay.
None of it has to do with fighting.
Yeah.
And
Totally.
that's all we do.
Yeah.
In the sense of like that's the training is fighting.
Yeah.
Right?
And yet, yeah, but I've been told, well, because I know you know my brother,
Yeah.
that it's not about being able to use that on somebody. It's like being able to hold that skill and then use it if it's necessary.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I'll be just dropping my teacher's quotes all day, I guess.
Yeah, let's do it.
But he said, you know, always be the warrior who can know when to not fight.
Yes.
And those are the greatest fighters, right? And he's like, always be a warrior in the garden, not a gardener in war. So be that person who can be at peace. Don't be that person who's looking for war. But to go back to what you said, it's interesting because I totally agree with you. Martial arts is just, it's so important for respect, because when you go in, you have to bow. You have to look at your teacher in the eyes. You cannot overspeak them. There's consequences right away. And that comes at, if you start martial arts at 40, that comes when you're at 3. Like when you're in that place of you, it's a place of respect, right? And then it turns into respect for your body. And then it's also one of those places where when you train, you have to learn presence, because I can't think about taxes that I have to file while being hit in the face,
Right.
Because I'll be hit in the face more.
Yeah.
So it's teaching you to be present and to flow and just trust yourself in movements. I don't know if when I go for a jab, you're going to reply with something with a hook, but I have to have faith that I'll have the speed and be able to back away if you're not. And that's a chance you have to take on yourself. And what that it goes into
confidence.
that's confidence, right? And then also, honestly, also just being scared. Like nobody likes to get hit. I mean, some people like to get hit. I know a couple of people who like to be hit, but the fear of an exchange is it's in our blood and DNA, right? And so getting comfortable with conflict, right, and being okay with it and still, and not freak out because you're getting hit all the time. Like it's that, again, goes back to that stillness in me.
Do you think that translates then in life?
100%.
How so?
Well, because like if you're coming home and you have an argument with your wife or your husband, like, and you're getting frustrated and you're boiling up so much, you know, you go back to the tactics of, listen, I just really didn't appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, this is where I'm coming from. This is where you're coming from. I love you, but let's figure out something in the middle. Opposed to in an argument, it's all about like, well, this is the way I feel.
Right.
And you're like, well, this is the way I feel. I'm like, well, you know, I just don't think you're considering my feelings. It's like, well, I don't think you're considering my feelings. Are we gonna fucking do this all day? Where you're just gonna like, you know what I mean? But I think when you understand how to,
it's like you need to check yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that far exceeds like anything when it comes to like life. And then obviously the amount of people I see who train in martial arts and honestly are like, they're introverts, and then all of a sudden they're doing better at school. You know, they're doing better. Like it was put in a sense of like a guy. You know, they're more comfortable talking to women now, right? Because they feel some power in them, and it's still
like harnessed in the right way.
Yeah, they know what they're capable of
Yeah.
because they went through something so hard.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's what it does. And you know what's so interesting? It's a little bit of side note, but I think it's really important for a young age for a child to experience hardship and overcoming that, whatever that looks like. So we had somebody on the podcast who was a magician, bullied, a loner, had learning disabilities, and he got introduced to magic. And then all of a sudden, when he was starting to get magic tricks, he would come to school a little bit more swagger. He would be able to do these tricks on girls and be able to have a little bit of a wit, right?
Yeah.
And smoothness.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, because of that confidence, he was able to like, okay, well, I want to learn better. I want to be able to do this. And it was one thing after another. And I think it's just really important at a young age to experience an oh shit moment. I don't know if I can do this. And having the right people to be like, yes, you can, but you kind of have to eat shit for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's important. And I think martial arts is like the epitome of that, in my personal opinion, because it's like you not only have to experience that physically, you got to experience that emotionally, and then your manners, right? Your manners have to be there.
Yeah. So what was the shit moment for you before the martial arts came in, like, in your life? A feeling like not confident or powerless or lost, maybe.
Okay. Let me
Have a sip. Sips are necessary.
So when I was at a young age, I was like heavily abused by my dad, And
I'm sorry.
thank you. The first fight I've ever been in was with my dad. I remember, um, I remember the turning point was I was on my bed and I couldn't cry because my face was so swollen that when you cry and you go like this and it's like it hurts. It hurts to go like this because it's so much. There's so much bruising, and I remember it hurt to cry. And I remember I just rather just let the tears just come down and not cry. And I remember that like growing up, like I watched like Rocky Balboa and all that stuff. So it's like I dreamed of that like 5 title fight, and I pushed myself, and I was so proud of myself, and I was yelling Adrian on the side,
Adrian.
and none of that happened.
Yeah.
None of that happened. And so I remember that I just felt so powerless. And I think the biggest thing was like the first blood that ever got drawn from me was from my father. And I remember that at that point on, I will never, ever feel weak again. And I will never, ever, ever feel powerless. So I ordered a whole bunch of Men's Health, and then I tried to understand my body, and I tried to understand my head, and I tried to understand my heart. And I realized that it was a journey that was going to be lifelong, and I didn't know if I was going to be able to achieve it at the end, but I knew that I had to walk it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was probably the first time.
Oh, I'm sorry you went through that. No. How old were you?
The first time was I moved around a lot as a kid, so I got to do timelines. I was still in Calgary, so I was 9 and a bit because I moved to Toronto when I was 10. So yeah, and then the honestly, the worst part about that was when that started happening. My coping mechanism when things got hard was I used to like cut myself, and it was so interesting because it was such a release because it was the pain that I could control. When things got tough at school, if we had, like we weren't poor, but if we had less money, if I ate honeycombs twice that day instead of once, or if I saw people around me tearing up and crying, like I would internalize that, and I would feel guilty that I couldn't fix it, and I would put it on myself. So it's interesting because, and I say this with not to glorify it, but there are days that I still miss it, and the reason why is just because it was so easy. Right? It's not easy to come home and be like, I'm just not okay today.
Yeah.
It was so, and I think it's just because I started at an earlier age. It was so easy to grab a blade, cut myself, wipe it, and go to sleep. It was just so easy because, and then it got harder because like I did a lot of sports, and I was so embarrassed that I was doing it. So I had to change the spots, right? So like first it was on my wrist here, right? And then they started, they would heal, but then there was one time where I did it and I cut too deep. So now I have scars. So I would do like, I played football, I do martial arts, and sometimes you're shirtless. So like, people see scars and stuff like that. So I had to change the positions. So sometimes I would do it on my hips. Sometimes I would switch it around. So I think that point led to the cutting, and then there was just a point where I remember one time it was so deep, and there was so much blood coming out that I was just so embarrassed with myself, and I was just like, I'm not like being who I want to be. And this is before I met my martial arts teacher, and I was just so like, I can't do this anymore. I was just more embarrassed, to be honest, of the scars.
Were you doing it as like an emotional release, or as like I don't want to be here anymore, do you think?
No, I never tried to commit suicide or anything like that. I just wanted to cause harm. I just wanted to cause harm. I wanted to be in control of my own pain, and I was, and I definitely was. So it was never which is, I don't know if that's neither is worse, I should say, but
No, it's not.
but to me, it was just, I just wanted to be controlling my own pain for once. You know, there were numerous amount of time where I was abused, like emotionally and physically. And it's just like, I just want to be in control of my pain for once. And I think that's why I have to be very careful with working out, is because even though I promised myself that I would never do that again, and I didn't after that point where it got really bad, you can still hurt yourself in working out.
Of course.
You know,
Yeah.
like I'm the kind of person that will work out for an hour and then go for a run for 2 hours, and it's just like because it's the pain I can control in that sense. So I really do have to take myself back sometimes, but I'm in way better control of that now.
In a similar sense, but different, I had an eating disorder
Mm-hmm.
growing up, and it was the same sort of thing for me. It was control.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was the only one who could control what's going in my body, and that
Mm-hmm.
was what, like, when you feel out of control, then you look for things to be in control. And at a young age, those are the sorts of things that sometimes happen. For you, you said that it was embarrassing, that's what kind of like stopped it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Were you ever like open about this when you started martial arts, or did you ask for help, or you just kind of, this was
Never.
all in your head of dealing with it, being like, okay, I'm going to commit to stopping, and
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people. Well, I mean, people don't now, but I only bring it up if I see somebody who is cutting. Like if I train like a younger person, I'll bring it up to the parent. Like because I've been there, I understand. Like if I see a girl or a guy walk in and they wear more bracelets than usual, right? If they more bracelets than usual, if their thing is always kind of up here, if they're covering this consistently in high heat, they're obviously either introverts in general, right? But if they're always fiddling like this, like I remember, because it gets itchy when it scabs, right? So it's just like I clock that shit right away because I've been there. So like only times I like have that conversation is if I see it or if I know it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't talk to anybody about it. My mom didn't even
I
know
was just gonna
about
say,
it.
did your mom or dad know about it?
But I wouldn't have cared, to be honest with you. But my mom didn't know about it until like way later in life. But I was really good at hiding that shit.
Yeah,
Really good at when you want to, you can hide things very well.
for sure.
All right. So like,
Were you afraid she would be worried, or?
no, I'm not in a bad way. Just my fear at that time as a child was just embarrassment, because like when growing up, I was a happy kid. You know what I mean? Like I was so happy. I was cracking jokes. So it's like the embarrassment of like I'm actually dying inside right now, and my people don't know. I didn't want that because it's like I saw like how much trouble everybody was going around me about my life. I can't add to that.
You didn't want
So I just like no. Like my coping mechanism was the sadder I am, and I have to sometimes it's like this in general, but that the sadder I am inside will be the happier you will see me.
Interesting.
So
Well, I'm not for anything, Norman. You're not the only person who does this. Like, this is I don't want to say like commonality in feeling like this, is that often, like, and this is why people say, like, you don't know what someone's actually dealing with.
Never.
People have no idea.
Never.
You see them smiling or showing up a certain way, especially with social media now. And then meanwhile, like, people are fighting like really hard battles within themselves.
Yeah, I think that's why it's really important to pay attention to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When somebody looks down, it's like, "Are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah." It's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like, "Are you actually okay?" Like, let's just talk.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk. But we have our own lives and we get busy with that, which is fair. But I don't know if one conversation with somebody could make them feel a little bit more seen and feel a little less pain, then I think that's worth it.
100%. Well, in sharing that, thank you for sharing that. I'm sure someone who's listening feels the exact same way.
I hope so. I mean, it's not easy talking to people. I mean, I did the exact opposite. I didn't talk to anybody about it. I just felt so embarrassed.
So when was the point that you wanted to talk to your mom, or that you told her?
Oh my
or
gosh.
anybody
I
for
was
that
like,
matter? Was she the first person that you told?
No. So it's it became awkward when I got older and I started sleeping with my girlfriend.
I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to be presumptuous. I was like, what about when you had girlfriends? Did anybody say anything? I was gonna ask that.
Well, I lied a couple of times. Like, oh no, this was just a scratch from like something and whatever.
Mm.
But you can't really hide like scratches like this on a wrist.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to like to hide. But yeah, no, that's the point where I started talking to people. Is because like if I was intimate with somebody, you see their body, and
Yeah.
it's just like, huh, okay, so don't do this anymore. Don't be scared. It was a really bad part of my past. We're solid. Are we still gonna make out? You know. So like it was like one of those situations.
Yeah.
So like that's probably the time where I had been the most honest with that. But yeah, that's never fun. I don't like it's weird because like I understand the path to like betterment is being able to understand your past and talk about it freely, but it's like one of the hardest things for me to do.
Yeah.
Cuz
Of
it's like
course.
this was like 8 fucking years of like nothing good happened. And it's just like
It's a
I have to
long
go
time.
back there to be like, yeah, and this and there. It's like I just want to fucking forget that. Like and I understand that I shouldn't because that's why the person I am and blah blah blah.
I
But
know, but the blah 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 is also like emotionally exhausting, and every time you
mhm
think about it, you're reliving it, and
mhm
like, yeah, it's not fun to do that.
no, not at all. But that though yeah, that's the only time. And then obviously my mom and I talked about it. It was very brief. It was just more like I think because she understood like I'm very much like I'll like I can self regulate pretty well. So I've always had that capability. So she knew like I changed in a lot of ways, but I think I try not to make my mom feel about it because I don't want to
Yeah.
make her feel like she wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I just try to chalk it up. I was just better at covering up because she was phenomenal. She is phenomenal, and she did a lot. Like she had me when she was like 16, 17, and people around her told her to like abort me and stuff like that. So like, you know, she chose. I know this may sound weird, but she chose to go the harder route. She made obviously those
Of course, that's
consequences.
not where that's difficult.
Yeah.
That's not
And I don't
easy.
judge a person
For
who does
sure.
that. It's not about
Everybody
that.
has their
I'm just
own.
saying I have more because I know how the people around her really pushed her to do that and she chose to stand. I tried to cause less pain on her in that sense. I kind of did the opposite, to be honest with you,
You
with
did
her.
it on yourself
Yeah, I did it
instead,
myself. But yeah. So, yeah.
I'm glad you're on the other side of it and you can see for what it is. Has anybody ever walked into your gym, like a kid or anyone for that matter, where you have seen that or you've had conversations? Like, has it come like back to you in that way?
No, but I think honestly because like and I don't mean this in a judgmental way, but would you ever guess that from meeting me?
No,
Yeah.
never.
And I think it's just because
And that is a judgmental thing. I will admit that. Like, because again, like going back to what we said, like because you are a very self-assured, confident dude,
mhm,
I would never like think that of you.
yeah, I think
And I don't
for
mean that as an insult. Like I
no,
just mean like
I think it's just because I like you don't think the person who can jock and jive and joke is a person who's like sad and lonely inside,
mhm.
right? I usually, right? So it's just like, you know, we see it all the time with like celebrities. It's like, oh,
Right.
why did he
How
kill
many people?
himself?
Yeah.
And it's like, well,
Yeah.
having money and fame and all that stuff is not a direct correlation to happiness,
Mhm.
right? And we all fight our demons at the end of the day. But I have not yet. I would tread that very carefully because you don't want to be too much to the kid where they feel embarrassed or shame and then they revert even more, right? But at the same time, like it's very important. It's just so important when you have children or you see children that you see them.
And you have a daughter.
I do. Yeah, yeah. She's a gangster.
She's a gangster.
Yeah, she's a gangster.
So cute.
Yeah, yeah. She's adorable.
So how do you kind of make I mean, how do you parent with all of this, knowing all of this? Because that's
Uh,
tricky. And I feel like nowadays raising kids is so much harder. because of what's around us?
I don't know what the answer is to that. I honestly don't.
Yeah.
All I want is to make sure that she. So I'm gonna say this, but I mean this in a nice way. I want her to have controlled suffering. I want her to go through hard things with support, right? And I just want to make sure that she understands her power. Like, I never want her to be like, self-doubt is normal, but I always want her to be scared to do something and either prevail or learn. So I think that's really important. I think it's really important also for her. Like, my goal for her is, like, I always want her to know that she's a shit. Like, I just always want her to know she's a shit.
Totally.
Right? So, like, I always want her to know everything is fucking cool that you do.
Yeah.
Right? You are the shit. You are smart. If you don't understand something, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
It's just, all that is really important. I think it's just because I never had that as a kid. So I just want her to know she's fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, and she's strong.
Yeah, for sure. Is she in martial arts?
Now, yeah, I gotta wait until she's 3.
Okay.
I gotta wait until she's 3. But we've been practicing. We've been practicing.
I'm
Sometimes
sure she
we're
has the bow down packed already.
Yeah,
She'll
sometimes
show up to class and be ready.
Oh, 100%. Sometimes we're when I change her and we're like reading a book like on the bed, I'll test her.
Yeah.
I'll like tickle her. I'm like, how you gonna grab my arm? How you gonna grab my arm? And she'll get it. I'm like, oh my god, perfect, or whatever.
Already.
Yeah, and even one time, she like, we were playing around, and then she pivoted, and she like gave me like kind of like a slap. And I was like, I had to obviously discipline her.
Yeah.
But I was like, great form though. Eh? great form.
You're like, use that on all the boys.
Yeah, 100%. So like, I just want her to feel powerful. I want her to like never feel doubtful. Like, and I think too, like, just independence, right? Independence is very important. I was raised by independent women in general, and it's just for her to be like, if she doesn't know something, that's fine. You cannot know something. That's totally okay, but you can learn it. So I just want her to feel like that, just feel power.
How would you describe yourself as a dad?
Not good enough, probably.
No, that's
but
not true.
that would probably be the ideal thing in my head that would be said. But I don't know. It's tough, you know. Like, my team and I are building great things, but it's tough because, like, I just want to be a good father, but I want to build things so that she sees like a schmuck like me can do great things. So a person like her can do phenomenal things.
Well, I can tell you for certain she does not think you're a schmuck, and she'll never.
I hope not. I pay her bills.
No, I'm telling you, she'll never feel that way. That's pressure that you put on yourself. She'll never feel that way.
Yeah, I just, you know, I didn't have a lot growing up in the sense of opportunities and the sense of like support and stuff like that. So I just want her to see, like, if dad can do this, if dad can build 3 businesses and create connections and build bridges and empires and still be a good person.
Yeah.
A person like you with your mom's brain, you got the world. You got the world, baby.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about mom, because, you know, like, that dynamic is also interesting too, based on like what you've seen, again, like in your childhood. How have you approached being a husband, and like what your daughter sees you as, like a father, you know, husband role?
Honestly, I try to do what I didn't see. Like, I try to make sure that like my wife is like heard. I try to make sure she's seen. I try to understand, and I try to make sure that she knows like we're teammates. It's okay.
Explain that for men listening. What does that look like exactly?
Okay, so
Because sometimes women will say, I don't feel seen. And guys are like, I see you. Like, I'm
you're right there.
Yeah. And I still don't get it. Like, because I have said this in a relationship more than once of like, I don't feel seen. And it's really hard to explain that to someone who simply just does not get it.
So for example, like my wife right now, she's working out really hard and she's trying to get in better shape because like she's been so focused with work and stuff like that. And I just like little moments, I'd be like, hey, like I just wanted to let you know, like you've been working so hard. Like,
Aww.
I think that's like really awesome, and I'm really proud of you. and like you're doing great. You know, just like a little in and out.
Little
You know,
nudge, yeah.
or simple things like if you're wearing something and it's like that looks like really good on you. You know, that looks really nice on you. Or in the sense of like obviously because we do podcasts and business and we have the gym and then we're also building like a beverage company. We have to take a lot of meetings, right? So sometimes I'm like not really home, which is not really ideal. So like if the days that I am home, like I'll just tell her like the other weekend I was like, hey, if you want to just like go upstairs and like watch Love is Blind or like Age of Attraction or whatever those shows, like just go upstairs for the rest of the night and I got this. So I think it's just little things to be like, I know you're tired. I know you're tired.
Yeah.
You don't gotta do this right now. I'm home. I'm tired too, but it's okay. Okay. And I think it's one of those things. It's like, I'm going to hold the weight more here because you've been holding the weight over there. And it's just, I think it's just passing the ball. I'm tired, but I'm going to do it. You're tired, but you're going to do it. I think it's one of those situations. And I think it's also like especially like my wife is, she works in supply chain and she's so good at her job, but she puts a lot of pressure on herself. So like, I just tell her like if I see her, she's stressed out, I'll just flat out ask her, like, what do you need right now? What do you
Sometimes
need?
it's as simple as that.
What do you
It's
need
just
right now?
asking, like, what do you need right now? Or what can I do to help you?
And sometimes it's a simple thing. It's like, hey, can you just go? We have a dog named Bullet. So can you just take Bullet out and then can you actually just like warm up my meal and bring it upstairs with a protein shake? Done. But sometimes it's like, what do you need? Not even a bad way. Like, what do you need?
Yeah.
It's like, just what do you need right now?
It's the tone that
it is a
matters.
tone. It is a tone. But I'm just like, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
But I think that's important in all your relationships.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like friendships, business relationships. It's just like, what if you have a tie with somebody and you care about them? I think it's so important to be like, what do you need right now? What do you need right now? Like to like switch it to like to Stacy, my business partner. Like I hold a lot. She knows I hold a lot. Sometimes she'll just be like, what do you need? She'll say it to me.
Yeah.
What do you need right now? I'd be like, sometimes I'd be like, nothing, don't worry about it, because I'm a guy and I'm stupid.
Yeah.
But there are times it's like, I just need some space right now. So I just think it's important in relationships in general
to be able to ask that question.
What do you need right now?
Yeah. Step back.
Yeah.
And
I think that lowers like, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you're like, that self-regulates you and you're like, you know what? I'm just being a silly baby right now.
It like checks yourself.
Yeah. You're like I'm just being kind of an asshole. I don't need anything right now. Let's go to work. Or it's just like, I just need 10 minutes right now. I'm just going to doom scroll.
Yeah.
And then let's get back to work.
Totally.
So
I have that relationship with my mom. Sometimes like I'll be a little bit more snappy with her than I should be. And she'll kind of be like, she'll understand where I'm coming from and then be like, what's wrong? Are you tired? Are you hungry? I'm like, yeah, I'm both.
I'm both.
I'm basically a 3-year-old, and when I'm cranky, it's usually because I'm either tired or hungry.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, it's important to sometimes have someone ask those questions and then check yourself of like, yeah, I'm acting like an asshole right now.
Yeah. I don't need to be like this right now.
I really do need help, and it's okay to accept the help. Like I agree. That's also really important to have that too.
Yeah, so hard to ask it though.
It is so hard to ask for help. I'm not good at that at all. I struggle with that.
I don't know anybody actually who's good at asking for help. Actually, Stacey's pretty good at asking for help. But she's very honest. Yeah. She's very honest with like her skills, and she's very honest with like.
You're only hurting yourself if you're not capable of asking for help.
This is true. That's true. I'm trying to think who else is good at asking for help.
Kids are good at asking for help.
We're
the ones that
they ask for
regulate
too much
them
fucking
to tell
help
them
sometimes.
not to ask for help. Honestly,
100%.
we're the ones that ruin it. For them.
Yeah, I think the worst thing for my wife and I is we never ask for help of each other before, and so like that it doesn't help each other. But we're getting better with it. We're just saying, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need help with? So, yeah.
Norman, how would you describe for you what it means to be a masculine man?
A masculine man.
What does that mean? I don't know. Okay, and the reason why I asked this is because so recently I watched the documentary on Netflix, Manosphere.
That was crazy.
Okay, I didn't even finish it.
World.
I didn't even finish it because I was so turned off and I was so irritated by the whole concept that this is even getting like a documentary like airtime.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what? It's interesting because I have two opinions about that world of like
Explain what it
uh,
is for people. I'll chime in as well. Yeah,
manosphere. Or,
manosphere. Yeah.
so manosphere fear is basically where like men help men know that they can have as many women as they want, and they
Driven
have
by like ego,
ego and
power,
money. Yeah, you
money.
find the money,
Yeah.
you get the women and stuff like that.
And so they do a documentary following a couple of guys
The
who are
most
like super
prominent,
successful. Yeah.
yeah.
And like honest. Yeah.
So it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy because I joke around. I'm like, seeing that kind of stuff makes me a feminist. I'm like, that is so
Yeah.
stupid. You're an idiot. But you know what? I found it funny because one of the scenes was, I don't remember the guy from Fresh and Fit or whatever was like, yeah, like, maybe I want 3 wives, maybe I want 4 wives.
Yeah.
Did you watch this part? Or
Yes.
did you? Okay.
Yes.
And then the Louis Theroux, I think is the
Yes.
journalist or whatever. He's like, okay, can we ask your girlfriend or your wife to
How
come
she
in?
feels, yeah.
And then she comes in. She's like, well, I'm not actually down for that. And he's like, well, maybe I'll change my mind. Maybe I just want 1 wife. I'm like, so you have no integrity in like what you want. So it's just
Right.
like you say this bravado, but you're just trying to be like, ugh.
Yeah. And
You
then
know?
she wasn't allowed back on camera to do
After,
anything.
yeah, I know. It's so funny. So
It's
funny.
like, you're out of here.
You're out of
girl.
here, 100%.
Yeah.
So I think that's, yeah, I think it's so silly. I go back and forth because
But people think like that though. That's what's scary. It's
I know.
silly because we don't think like that. But I think a lot of guys think like that. And I think there's also a certain degree of guys who are like lying to themselves if they say that they don't think like that a little bit.
Yeah, see, I go back and forth because the reason why these guys can prey on weaker men, or I don't want to say weaker men, that sounds bad. The reason why they can prey on these men who are lost is because they feel bad being masculine somehow, whether that comes from upbringing, whether that comes from they feel less than physically or whatever, and they prey on them like, you know what, this guy is telling me he sees me and I need to do this. So I think they manipulate insecurities, right? And I think that's sad that men can't feel like that, can't feel strong. Like men, I feel sad that some men feel like they feel less than if they are masculine, so they have to go like so far on the other side.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's sad because it's like, if you're masculine, you should feel masculine. Feminine, you deserve to feel that. But at the same time, like there's been some like man camps and stuff like that I've had reached out to the podcast and I just see in general. And a part of me, and this could be like a pessimist, but like what part of you is trying to help and what part of you is just trying to like prey on insecurities?
Totally. Because at the end of the day, also, I think getting people to follow or listen to that sort of behavior just amps their own insecurity
100%.
and ego.
Yeah.
Like it's, to me anyway.
Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that scene was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so funny. You act like this and then your woman comes on air and you're like, I don't actually want that at all. You're like, so yeah, you're lying. You're trying to be this like guy.
Yeah.
So I go back and forth, but at the same time, like I don't know what the answer is, but it just like like men deserve to feel masculine. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know. I'm not saying that's hunting. I'm not saying having a gun license.
Yeah.
But I think it's if you're like feminine or masculine, I think you deserve to feel your power, whatever that looks like, right? And I think like when it comes to men, I think the biggest thing is that they want to feel respected, validated, and seen. I think those are big things that make men feel good. Like how many times do you see on a TV show or in general where like he fixes something for the female or for the family, and it's like that pride. It's like I did something for them.
Yeah.
Like it makes us feel good to help. But for some odd reason, like because of society and things, it's like no, like I'm the king, I'm this whatever. But it's like, every king needs a queen, and every queen and king need an empire together. Like I mean, it's a ecosystem.
Yeah.
So
It's so interesting because yeah, I watch documentaries like that, and it just affirms a certain kind of man that's out there. But then on the latter side, there's also like men that are afraid to like step up and be protectors and
for sure.
like exercise like those similar parts of what masculinity means in my eyes anyway, as like a protector, as a provider, as all these things. Like guys are also afraid of accepting those roles, I feel like nowadays, for whatever reason. And I don't know if it's because women are more independent that has hurt that part of them, or if it's just because of the world and all the pressures that like we have today that it feels more overwhelming.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is. It is overwhelming. I just feel like
you know what I mean though.
I 100% know what you yeah, I do. I know what you mean. I'm just trying to think what would like I don't know what the answer is, because it's just there have for better or for worse, but there have been times where I've met men and be like, come on, man. Come on, like, you got to figure this out. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just like
I hate to use the expression, but it's like man up.
Yes, 100%.
Like what I would say
100%.
I mean, I've never said this to a man because obviously I would. I think
that's a trigger
crushing,
word for a man too.
I would never say
what?
that, but in my mind, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Yes,
like,
yes.
freaking like man up, buddy.
Yeah. 100%. I do. Yeah, I do agree with that. But it's just like, it's knowing your faults also and knowing your strengths. I don't know. It's tough because I think
you're like, I can't understand it because I'm not like that.
Yeah. Well, no.
You can say that.
No. Yeah, no. I'm sure there's times I gotta man up. But like, there's certain like, okay, for example, like a stereotypical like man quality.
Yeah.
I'm shit at building things. Whenever we get things, Stacy builds everything. She even has a tool bag. I don't have a tool bag. I go home.
There's a lot of guys like
my
that,
wife
though.
has a tool bag. She builds everything too.
That's
I'm
impressive.
so obsolete when it comes to all that stuff.
Okay.
Not the guy. I'm the guy holding the piece of paper. I'm like A to C.
Yeah.
I think, I'm awful at that. I'll learn. I'll try to learn, but I'm awful at that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like those things. I'm not really, I don't brag about that. That feels shitty inside, but I think that's because society tells you got to be the man who knows how to build things or whatever. But also that doesn't make me feel insecure. I'm like, I'll go get you a coffee. I don't care.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to get a guy to come and do it
Yeah.
for us.
I'll pay him. I'll make the money to pay him. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I think men also have to feel in touch with like what makes them powerful. So it's like I think.
How do you think more men should discover that, of like what that looks like? What does power maybe mean to them, or confidence?
I think power is protection for sure. Like, I think honestly, it's for sure our job, especially as as men, to be able to we're usually physiologically bigger. Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important for us, like, God forbid something comes down, we can protect the other person. And I'm not saying to like fight the person, but if something's going down and you hurt yourself and I can grab you and get you the heck out of here, like, I think that's important that we can do that,
Mm-hmm.
Obviously it's really important for a woman to do that for themselves in general, but I think it's important for men to feel they're able to protect whoever it is around them.
See, and I feel that the men who don't have that sort of power, quote unquote, physically,
Mm-hmm.
will do it with money. Like the driving force is like, I need to make all this money
to be able to protect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think that's wrong. Oh,
no, but I think it looks differently for different people.
For sure, because I think
that protection looks different for different people.
Yeah. How many guys or how many people have you known in your life who make, not a crazy amount of money, but they protect their family?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? They're good men.
Yeah.
They protect their family. They make sure that they're taken care of. The tires are done or whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think for men, it's like doing the best they can to take care of the people around them, whatever that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't know, if the person doesn't need help with their tires or whatever, what do they need help with? Okay, well, that's what I'm going to help them with then. Because that's what I can,
Interesting. Yes. Okay. So my therapist has actually said this to me because I'm like hyper independent.
Yeah.
And I don't like asking for help. And one of the things that she said, or like I've said this in relationships, and I've said this to people that I've dated, of like, I don't need you. Mm-hmm. I want you. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that's a bit of like a challenging conversation because And my therapist has said this, and maybe this is controversial, but she's like, men need to feel needed.
Oh, 100% they need to.
She's like, whether you like really feel that in your gut or not, or whether you say that out of fear of relying on someone, is that like men need to feel needed to their core to be in like a successful relationship or partnership.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know.
Hard. That's
yeah, especially, but I think it's also being honest. Like, okay, I need you, but just not on the things that you think that I need you in.
Oh.
Right.
Okay.
Like, you know, I need you to sit here and hold me for 20 minutes because I had a bad day. I don't need you to buy me that sweater.
Huh.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's like situational.
Yeah.
But I think like it's just in what that person needs for them, right? Like sometimes it's just like we see this all the time with guys and girls. I don't need you to give me solutions. I just need you to listen to me.
Yeah.
So it's like, is this
Totally.
I give you solutions, or do you want me to sit down and just listen to you and be like, you're right, babe. That girl's crazy. Because you and sometimes you just need that, or it's like, or is this a solution thing?
Yeah.
Like how many times too? It's like if you ask something, it's like, yeah, babe, whatever looks good. It's like, no, I want an opinion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, so okay, so you want an opinion?
Yeah.
Got you. I'll give you an opinion on this. So I think it's just asking, or maybe you should like know, like if they come and they're stressed out, you're like, I'm just gonna listen for a bit and then see what they say at the end. So I think it just is situational to what that person needs. I think it's like, I don't know, some men need just like a rub on the back and be like, hey, like you're working really, really hard right now, and I know you're tired, and I know you feel guilty for not being home, but thank you. That can go like light years ahead. Or sometimes it can be like, if it's on the other side, hey, I haven't been home like much because of work. I just want to let you know, like you're doing so much right now, and I appreciate that. So it can go both ways, in my opinion.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Okay, well then I want to close this out, Norman, with asking you the question that you asked me.
Oh
on
no.
your podcast. What does alpha mean to you? Because I'm sure it also has evolved for you, asking this question to so many people on your podcast. I bet it has changed.
Yeah. To be honest with you, my version of alpha is an ideology of myself that I know is never achievable, but I know I will always be on that road to get there. And I know that I feel that because alpha to me is the epitome. And at the end of the day, there's no such thing as like perfect, right? So it's just, I want to get there as close as possible so that I'm at least loads better than I was before. And that gives me comfort. And I think also, I've always thought that, you know, being an alpha is doing things because you see it and because you can. Let me rephrase this. Actually, I think being an alpha is doing things that other people either won't or can't, not because you can, but because like it's a responsibility. You know, if I can do something to make your day better, it is my responsibility to try to make your day better. And it can be something small. I'm not saying you have to do something where your whole life is in disarray, but I think it's important for a person, if you can see that you can do something that other people can't or won't, then it's not an option anymore. It's a responsibility for you to do things. And I think it's important from that point on to be the best of person in the worst of times, you know? So that's how I feel about it in a long-winded way.
No, that makes me feel better about my long-winded answer on
yours
your
was
podcast.
epic. I feel like with your answer, I had to put like Hans Zimmer in the background. Like I was like, what is she gonna say?
As such, I'm requesting that track
I will.
at the end of it. This was so much fun.
This is bomb.
Okay, so really quick, so people know where they can find you, what you have coming up.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us what's going on.
Oh my god, hopefully I remember the handles. Okay, so where to see us? So our is get_alpha athletics is our gym. And then our podcast is get_alpha just in general.
Okay.
And then my personal is Norman_Burgos official. We're also doing a live show for our podcast, and we're going to do it in October 16th. So we're going to get a panel of 6 to 7 people, talk about business, life, poetry, leadership, betterment, and it's going to be phenomenal. It's in Aurora Town Square. And we're going to have proceeds go to Yellow Brick House. That's what it's called, right? Yellow Brick House.
Yeah.
And we're going to have Yellow Brick House, and we're going to donate to them. And then Northern Hydration is also going to donate a portion of their cans to them, too. So we're just trying to make sure that we give as much back to the community as possible.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And tell everybody where your gym is, too.
Our gym is in Aurora, Ontario.
There you go.
It's phenomenal. So we do boot
It is.
camps.
It's like so badass.
Aw.
Like I feel like I would walk in there and like I'm like a tank when I work out.
I mean, you're just a tank in general, though.
No, thanks. And you know, when it's summer and the garage is open.
Oh my God, 100%.
It, like,
it's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
It's for sure. It's for sure a vibe. So we're located in Aurora. We do boot camps. So, but the difference with us is that we focus on weightlifting. So we focus on
really quick. Why are weights good for you?
Weights are really good for you.
My year of weight training
because it helps with insulin sensitivity, bone density, hormone balance, and also creates that armor around your body so that you're not looking lethargic. And
for men and women.
100% women.
Yeah.
Women, 100%. Especially if you're premenopausal, you got to focus on weight training as much as possible.
Okay.
It's really important. Men, obviously, too, but it works on hand in hand. Weight training will help testosterone and estrogen 100%. So you just need to focus on weight training and then make sure that you do some kind of cardiovascular activity. I always say, if you're not a person who likes cardio, find the one you like the least and do it the most.
Ah, really?
yeah. Because then you can really push yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. But find.
I'm gonna make you love it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got because sometimes you hate certain things, and then once you start doing it again, it's just because you're not good at it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just because you're not good at it, and you always want to learn a new skill. Like people love pickleball now. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of pickleball, but
my hand-eye coordination is not good.
It's not there. So I'm ambidextrous, so I can switch hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
That makes you real you would be a strong player in something like that.
I don't play, so I wouldn't know. but I do remember that in gym whenever I played like tennis.
Yeah.
I remember my teacher hit the birdie on the other side, and I just threw it on the other side and hit it. He asked me, "Are you ambidextrous?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Huh."
Yeah, that's like killer for sports.
Yeah. That's a weird thing.
That's the talent.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish.
But yeah, so the gym, we do boot camps, weightlifting. We have personal training. We also have a chiro there. We have open gym, so you can go and work out on your own. It's a pretty amazing, phenomenal space. We actually see you when you walk in.
That's so nice. Yeah. I love that. Okay, everybody go check it out. Thank you so much for being here.
I appreciate you
sharing. This was fun.
This was cool. Your space is so awesome.
Thanks. I can't take credit. Give shout out to Grid Studio.
Shout out to Grid.
Woo, thank you.
No problem. Well, I appreciate it. Hope you have a good rest of the day.
Yeah, you too.
And you guys too. Ciao.